How's everyone doing?
Great.
Happy to be here. My name's Garrett.F. Devil's Lettuce, Mary Jane, Jazz Cabbage. All names for what's formerly known today as marijuana. Me personally, I grew up skeptical of marijuana. I was taught that it was on the lines of cocaine or heroin. As I grew up and I started to form my own opinions and exploring my options, I discovered that wasn't the truth. I found that marijuana alleviated my social anxiety and was an overall fun thing to do. I saw my family warm up to it as well. My mom suffered from MS for over 20 years. Marijuana for her has relieved her symptoms and overall made life much easier. For my survey analysis, I asked 3 questions. First, do you believe marijuana should be legal medicinally? The results showed a collective agreement, with 20% saying no it shouldn't and 80% saying it should be legal. For the next question I asked, do you believe marijuana should be legal recreationally? This is where the results started to see even split, with 60% saying yes it should and 40% saying no it shouldn't. I ended the survey asking, have you ever tried marijuana in any form? 6% said yes, 40% said no. In conclusion, it appears that most of you are aware of marijuana's medicinal benefits and its place in our society. However, a good portion of you are still uncertain or in disbelief of the benefits that legalizing recreational use has in our society. What I'm trying to say is that marijuana, while great for treating pain and illness, has further societal benefits that would justify a complete legalization, such as economic benefits, social justice, and personal freedom and public health. For my first point is a look at the economic benefits that take place in our society and why we should legalize marijuana. Should marijuana be fully legalized, there would be economic benefits, including improving the general state of life for the country. First off, with marijuana being sold in dispensaries as opposed to streets, the state would be able to collect tax revenue. This in turn funds and improves the public services we all use today, such as education, healthcare, etc. According to the Kipler Personal Finance from the Bucks database, authors Block and Sandra quote the following. Missouri voters approved a measure that would legalize the use of recreational marijuana for adults 21 and over, imposing a 6% sale tax on marijuana. As more states legalize marijuana, it became more difficult to resist the potential tax revenue. Like they said, legalizing marijuana comes with opportunities that would benefit the services we use today. Further on the topic of economical benefits, legalizing marijuana would come with job opportunities. With full legalization comes a higher demand for production, leading to more dispensaries and factories. This in turn creates more jobs. According to the St. Louis Post-Driven from the Bucks database, authors Merciless and Anika quote the following. If voters legalize pot for recreational use, some local cannabis businesses say their workforce would increase or even double. And unlike the rest of the economy, still racked with staffing shortages, it appears there's a supply of candidates eager to work in that industry. We are seeing a huge demand for people who want to work in this space. Also, the marijuana market shows no signs of slowing down. Many would be able to make a career out of it. For my second point is a look at how legalizing marijuana would contribute to the social justice. Should marijuana be fully legalized, social justice benefits would follow, ensuring a country free of racism and profiling. there's many racial and social disparities within our criminal justice system. People of color are disproportionately arrested and incarcerated for marijuana-related offenses, despite a similar usage rates among both black and white communities. The ACLU, the American Civil Liberty Union, explored the statistics of this with the quote, "Despite similar usage rates of marijuana use across racial groups, black individuals are 3.6 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than white individuals." So as such, the best way to fix that inequality would be to just legalize marijuana altogether. Furthermore, on the subject of social justice, many people today of all races are incarcerated on marijuana charges. According to the Wisconsin State Journal from the Bucks database, authors Vetterkeen and Riley quote the following. A Department Corrections study reviewing prison admissions from 2000 and 2016 shows offenses for marijuana accounted for anywhere between 6 and 9% of total admissions in Wisconsin. Drug offenses in general accounted for between 21 and 20% of all state prisons admissions over those years. At the end of the day, weed is not killing anybody, nor is it a threat to society. Incarcerating people for it is a waste of time, resources, and is a violation of human rights. For my final point is to look how legalizing marijuana would benefit both public health and safety. Legalizing marijuana would lead to an overall decrease in safety risk and reduce related fatalities. Alcohol today is much more normalized and praised in comparison to marijuana, despite statistics showing it causes much more fatalities. This is most notably seen in those driving under the influence of alcohol versus marijuana. From the Drug and Alcohol Review journal article, authors Green and Caitlin M. comment on this with the quote, "There was a shared consensus that, with regard to crash risk, driving after marijuana use was safer than driving after alcohol use. While alcohol was thought to impair driving ability universally, marijuana impacts depended on individual characteristics. And the marijuana itself, it depended on the marijuana itself. In all, legalizing marijuana would lessen the negative stigma around it, and more drunk drivers might be more likely to smoke marijuana instead of alcohol. You might have heard the quote, "A drunk driver runs past a stop sign. A stoner waits for it to turn green." Furthermore, on the topic of public health and safety, legalizing marijuana would allow smokers to buy approved products from dispensaries instead of buying it from dealers on the streets, whose safety is questionable at best. People are going to smoke weed regardless if it's legal or illegal. It's better they smoke something improved and safe rather than something off the street, whose safety is questionable at best. Street marijuana is explored in a blog post by farmcheck.com with the quote, "Users must recognize the potential risk of undisclosed ingredients when purchasing vaping devices illegally, whether through acquaintances, drug dealers, or online sources. In these cases, the drug's contents may not reflect the actual composition of the vaping liquid. Even if a particular vape is marked as cannabis or another substance, vaping devices may contain heroin or fentanyl. Government-owned dispensaries do not come with these risks and allow safe products that smokers can buy without fear of being laced. Altogether, a full legalization of marijuana would come with a variety of benefits on a societal level, such as benefits for the economy, with job opportunities and tax revenues, as well as social justice through reducing profiling and incarceration rates. And finally, public safety through regulated marijuana and a decrease in drunk drivers. I hope the half of you that voted no to a full legalization will consider changing your mind and thinking about the benefits that would not only protect you, but your friends, family, and peers. I learned a lot this semester, and I'm thankful for how much I've improved. That's all I have today.
Thank you. Excellent.